I've had some people ask me, can I just put it simply and refute this notion that the Seventh-day Adventists and Jehovah's Witnesses have that Jesus and Michael the Archangel are the same person. It's very easy to refute when you don't twist the scriptures and you look at the meaning of what the text is saying. It's very easy to refute. One of the things they try to do is say, for instance, Michael's name meaning who is like God. Rather than put a question mark on the end of it, the Seventh-day Adventists want to put an exclamation point on the end of it, meaning Michael is like God. But if they looked up the definition of Michael, they would see very clearly that it's a question mark at the end of who is like God. It is not saying that Michael is God at all. It's just asking a rhetorical question that implies that there's no one like God. At the bottom line, it's a rhetorical question. Who is like God? It simply implies no one is like God. There's another prophet in the New Testament called Micah. His name means who is like God. So is he Jesus as well? Is he God as well? So their idea of Micah, who is like God, but then they put an exclamation uh, on the end of it rather than a question mark, they can make it be anything they want to. But when you use the right interpretation, you use the right definition, it is simply foolish to think that Michael and Jesus are the same being. Then another verse of scripture they use is in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 that reads this. And again, the text itself explains clearly. In 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 16, it says, "For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout and with the voice of an archangel, with the trumpet of God, and will come down from heaven." They want to see there, voice of an archangel. Seventh-day Adventist, it doesn't say that the voice is Jesus Christ. It simply says, with the voice of an archangel. Now, if you want to carry it on out there, it also says, with the trumpet of God. So that means that Jesus is the trumpet too. It's just a silly interpretation of the Bible is what it is. It doesn't say that Jesus is the archangel. It just simply says, with the voice of an archangel. And if you carry it out the way Seventh-day Adventists want to do it, you have to say that not only is he an archangel, but he's the trumpet of God as well. So again, their interpretation just doesn't hold any water. Another verse they use is Jude 9 that says this. Again, they just can't seem to interpret Scripture right. Jude 9 says this: "Yet the angel Michael, the archangel Michael, when he argued with the devil in a dispute over the body of Moses, did not venture to pronounce a reviling judgment upon him, but said, 'May the Lord rebuke you.'" Now, Christians know that the Lord and Jesus are the same being. They're one and the same. But here in this verse, you have two different beings. You have Michael the Archangel and the Lord, who is Jesus Christ. And in fact, if you go back to the New Testament, in the Gospels, you'll find out that Jesus rebuked Satan himself. He didn't need to call on anybody to rebuke Satan. So once again, you have two different beings in the verse. Michael the Archangel and the Lord, who is Jesus Christ. Two entirely different beings, but for some reason they can't see that there are two beings there. They think, it'd be like Jesus calling on Jesus, according to them. Again, Protestants look at it. It is two entirely different beings being mentioned in that verse. So it's very easy to refute their belief that Jesus and Michael, the Archangel, are the same being, because they're not. And the verses they use are nothing more than twisted than to promote what Ellen White said when she called Jesus Michael the Archangel. That is the only reason they do it, is because Ellen White said that Jesus and Michael the Archangel were the same person. That is the only reason they do it. There's no biblical support whatsoever for it. And all the twisting of Scripture doesn't change the fact that when you look at Daniel and you see Michael, who said, "Who is like God?" it is a question mark, not an exclamation mark. A rhetorical question which says no one is like God. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, he is not the voice, he is not an archangel. It simply says with the voice of an archangel. He's not the trumpet either, is he? Jude 9, two entirely separate, different beings being talked about there. So that's as simple as you can put it. And you don't have to twist Scripture to get that. So until next time, this has been Golly saying, God bless.